I told my parents I won't change my name because of their regret. I legally changed my name to Atlas when I turned 18. My birth certificate had Michael William Reynolds Jr. on it, named after my father, who walked out when I was 2. For 16 years, I hated being called Junior or Little Mike. Every time someone said my name, it felt like dragging around the shadow of a man who decided we weren't worth keeping. School always started the same. Michael Reynolds, the teacher would call. I go by MJ, I'd answer, trying to create distance. Mom worked 2 jobs after he left. She'd help with homework despite being exhausted and never complained. Not even when grandparents would say he looks more like his father every day, as if that was a compliment. When I was 15, Mom started dating David. He was nothing like my father. Quiet, reliable, with a dry sense of humor, an English professor who wore sweater vests and collected maps. His first visit, he brought me a journal instead of forcing some guy bonding activity. David never tried to replace my dad. He just showed up. He came to baseball games with his grading work, occasionally looking up to cheer. He helped with college applications and never made me feel like a burden. Once I heard him tell Mom, "He's not my son," but I couldn't be prouder if he was. Before senior year, I researched name changes. Nothing felt right until I remembered a book David gave me about Greek mythology, Atlas, the Titan who held up the heavens. That resonated. When I told them my plan, Mom was supportive but confused. "Why Atlas?" she asked. "Because Atlas carried the world on his shoulders." That's how I felt, carrying Dad's name when he couldn't carry his responsibilities. At least Atlas never put down his burden and walked away. David nodded. "Names have power. They tell a story." "Exactly. I want to tell my own." After my birthday, I filed the paperwork. 6 weeks later, I became Atlas Reynolds. My first college letter addressed to my new name is still pinned to my board. Everything was fine until last week when my biological father called. Mom handed me the phone with a strange look. "Junior, how's my little Michael Jr.?" My stomach dropped. "That person doesn't exist anymore." "What? My name is Atlas now." He laughed like it was a joke. "That's not your name. You're Michael William Reynolds Jr. I named you myself. Right before you left," I added. "I legally changed it." He said he was changed. "Sorry. Wanted to reconnect." He'd moved back to town with his new family, but wanted to make things right with his first son. He kept repeating my old name like he could force it back onto me. Yesterday, I found his car in our driveway. Mom and David sat stiffly in the living room with my biological father on our couch like he belonged there. They ambushed me with dinner. Mom kept giving apologetic glances. David was quiet. My father dominated with stories about his new life, kids, and business. At dessert, he addressed the elephant in the room. "So, you've changed your name to Atlas, like the map book." "Like the Titan," I corrected. "Well," he chuckled, "time to reconsider. You're starting college soon. Reynolds men have carried the Michael name for generations." 3, Mom said quietly. 3 generations. He waved her off. "You're erasing your heritage, acting impulsively. I understand you were angry." "Were," I repeated. "But changing your name is extreme and hurtful." David cleared his throat. "Atlas has given this a lot of thought." My father's eyes flashed. "With all due respect, this isn't about you." I stood up and looked him straight in the eyes. "Those eyes people said I inherited. You erased yourself from my life when I was 2. I won't change back to a name that reminds me of your regret. I'm Atlas now, carrying my own world. Not yours," he argued. I was being dramatic. "That family names matter. That I'd regret this." I shook my head. "The only thing I regret is taking 18 years to realize I could put down a burden I never asked to carry." "Stop!" Mom said suddenly. Everyone turned. Her voice was shaking. "There's something Atlas doesn't know. Something I should have told you years ago." My father's expression changed to something dark. "Don't you dare. He deserves to know why you really left." Mom looked at me with tears in her eyes. "Your father didn't just walk away. He left because..." My father lunged across the table, and I watched David catch him mid-air as Mom's secret hung in the room like poison. David's grip on my father's shoulders was iron. For a man who spent his days grading papers and discussing Victorian literature, he had surprising strength. My father twisted against him, face purple with rage. "Let me go, you pretentious academic piece of..." "Sit down, Michael." David's voice was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes people listen. "Or I call the police for assault." My father went still. David released him slowly, both hands raised like he was dealing with a wild animal. Mom was standing now, one hand pressed to her mouth, the other gripping the back of her chair. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, just stood there watching my biological father straighten his shirt and run a hand through his hair. That same gesture I'd caught myself doing 1,000 times in the mirror. "Say it, Deborah." My father's voice was cold now, all the fake warmth from dinner stripped away. Tell him why I really left. Go ahead. Mom's eyes met mine. 16 years of bedtime stories and packed lunches and parent-teacher conferences. 16 years of her being the only parent who mattered. And now this. You weren't Michael's first child. The words came out barely above a whisper. You had another son. From before we met. The kitchen tilted sideways. I grabbed the counter to steady myself. His name was Christopher. Mom's voice strengthened. Like once she started, she couldn't stop. He was 6 years old when your father and I started dating. 6 when we got married. 7 when you were born. Deborah, no, she cut him off. You wanted to come back here after 17 years? Then Atlas gets to know everything. David moved closer to me. Not touching, just present, solid. Mom wiped her eyes but kept talking. Christopher had special needs, developmental delays, required constant care and attention. Your father's first wife, Melissa, she left when Christopher was 4, said she couldn't handle it anymore. So it was just them. My father was staring at the floor now, jaw clenched. When you were born, your father was over the moon, a healthy baby. No complications. He'd say it to doctors, to family, to anyone who'd listen. This one's normal. This one's perfect. I felt sick. Christopher needed so much attention. Therapy appointments 3 times a week, special equipment, behavioral specialists. Your father started working longer hours, coming home later. One day he just... Mom's voice cracked. He told me he was done, that he'd given 7 years to a broken kid and he deserved a fresh start with a real family. That's not what I said. My father's head snapped up. You're twisting it. Then correct me, Michael. Mom's eyes blazed. Tell your son exactly what you said when you walked out. He opened his mouth, closed it, looked at me with something that might have been shame if I squinted hard enough. I said I couldn't do it anymore. The special needs, the stares, the constant expenses, the knowledge that Christopher would never be normal. He straightened his shoulders. I wanted a life where I didn't have to explain my kids' behavior to strangers, where I could just be a normal dad. So you abandoned both of them, David's voice cut through the kitchen. Christopher and Atlas, because one wasn't perfect and the other wasn't useful anymore. You don't understand what it was like. My father's face flushed. Every day feeling like a failure, watching other kids hit milestones while Christopher struggled with basic words. Do you know what that does to a man? Christopher was 8 when you left. Mom's hands were shaking. He asked about you for 2 years. Every single day. Where's Daddy? When is Daddy coming home? He couldn't understand why you disappeared. I found my voice. Where is he now? Mom's expression softened. Living with your Aunt Jenna in Oregon. She got custody after your father left. Christopher's 24 now. He works at a bakery 4 days a week. Has his own apartment with support services. He's happy. You knew about this? I looked at David. How long have you known? Your mom told me before we got serious. Said I needed to know the full story before I committed to this family. David met my eyes. She wanted to tell you when you were older. Wanted you to be ready. I was never ready. Mom's voice broke. How do you tell your child that his father chose perfectionism over love? That you weren't the first kid he walked away from? My father made a sound like a wounded animal. I was 26 years old, drowning. My first wife left me with a disabled child and no support system. I did my best for years. Years, Deborah. Then I met you and had a chance at a normal life. Was I supposed to just sacrifice everything? Yes? David's single word hung in the air. That's literally what being a parent means. Easy for you to say. My father jabbed a finger at David. You walked into a ready-made situation. One normal, healthy kid and a grateful woman. You didn't have to deal with the hard stuff. The real stuff. The real stuff? David's laugh was bitter. Atlas was 10 when his baseball coach made a joke about him being fatherless. 11 when kids at school started calling him a mistake because his dad left. 13 when he stopped celebrating Father's Day because it reminded him he wasn't worth staying for. I dealt with all of that. I held him through all of it, while you were busy starting your perfect new family and pretending your first 2 kids never existed. New family? I couldn't process fast enough. You have more kids? My father's silence was answer enough. Mom nodded. Twin girls. They're 14 now. Madison and Mackenzie. Your father has photos on Facebook. The perfect family Christmas cards, no complicated history. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands, typed in Michael William Reynolds, found his profile in seconds. Private, but the profile picture was public. Him with his arms around 2 blonde teenage girls, all 3 smiling like catalog models. The background showed a house with white columns, a golden retriever, a woman who must be the 3rd wife standing slightly apart, perfectly styled. The caption read, "Blessed beyond measure." I showed the phone to David, then to Mom. My father tried to take it, but I yanked it back. Blessed beyond measure. I read it out loud. That's what you wrote. under a photo of the family you chose over the two sons you abandoned. Atlas, it's not that simple. It really is. I pocketed my phone. You had a son with special needs. That was hard, so you left. You had me. I was healthy, but reminded you of your failure, so you left. Then you started over with a woman who didn't know your history. Got your do-over. Your perfect girls who will never know they have two older brothers you erased. They know. My father's voice was defensive. They know I was married before. That I have older kids. Do they know why you left us? Do they know about Christopher? I stepped closer. Or did you feed them some story about young love not working out? About drifting apart? Some sanitized version where you're not the villain? His face gave him away. That's what I thought. I turned to Mom. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Because you were already carrying so much. Tears streamed down her face. You heard the comments from family, saw the judgment. I didn't want you to think there was something wrong with you, that his leaving was somehow your fault. I thought if you just knew he left, without knowing the pattern, you wouldn't blame yourself. But I did blame myself. The words came out harder than I intended. Every birthday he missed, every school event, every time someone asked where my dad was, I invented reasons, made excuses, told myself maybe I wasn't interesting enough or smart enough or worth staying for. Baby, no. And the whole time, there was a kid before me. A kid with actual challenges who got abandoned for not being perfect. Which meant I never stood a chance. I laughed, but it came out wrong. At least Christopher had a reason in your twisted logic. What was mine? Being a reminder? Being inconvenient? My father opened his mouth, but I wasn't done. You called today and used my old name. The one you gave me. Michael William Reynolds Jr. You know what's funny? You named me after yourself. Like I was supposed to carry on your legacy. Be the junior version of you. But you couldn't even stick around long enough to see what kind of man I'd become. I'm here now. My father's voice cracked. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I made mistakes. I was young and overwhelmed and I ran. But I've changed. I've grown. I want to make this right. By asking me to change my name back, I pulled the court documents from my backpack. I'd started carrying them everywhere after his first call. By trying to reclaim me like some lost belonging? You think that fixes 17 years? It's a start. He reached for me, but I stepped back. Atlas, please. Let me try. Let me be your father. I already have a father. I looked at David. He showed up. Every day for 6 years. He didn't share DNA with me, but he shared everything else. His time, his knowledge, his pride in who I was becoming. He earned the title you're claiming. David's eyes were wet. He blinked fast, trying to hide it. My biological father looked between us. His face cycled through emotions too fast to track. Anger, hurt, jealousy, pride, shame. You can't just replace me with him. His voice rose. I'm your real father. Blood matters. Family matters. You can change your name, but you can't change who you are. You're my son. No. The word came out clear and strong. I was your son. For 2 years. Then you decided Christopher was too broken, and I was too normal, and neither of us fit the exact life you wanted. So you left. You made that choice. And every day since then, you've lived with your new family and pretended we didn't exist. I pulled out my phone again, opened Facebook, started scrolling through his public posts. Madison's soccer championship, Mackenzie's honor roll certificate, family vacation to Disney World, first day of high school, every milestone documented and celebrated. I kept scrolling. You know what's not here? Any mention of Christopher. Any mention of me. We're ghosts in your history. Deleted chapters. I couldn't. My father's composure cracked. How was I supposed to explain to them that I abandoned 2 kids? That would make me a monster in their eyes. You are a monster. Mom's voice was steel. And I've protected Atlas from that truth for 17 years. Let him believe you left because you were young or scared or broken by the divorce. But you wanted to come back, wanted to reclaim him. So now he gets to know exactly who walked away. My father turned on her. You're vindictive. You've poisoned him against me. I've protected him from you. Mom stood her ground. There's a difference. By lying to him for 17 years, by giving him space to become whoever he wanted to be, without the weight of knowing his father was a man who viewed children as products to be returned if they didn't meet specifications. The kitchen went silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. I thought about Christopher, a kid I'd never met. A brother who existed somewhere in Oregon, working at a bakery, unaware his younger brother just learned he existed. Does he know about me? I asked quietly. Christopher, does he know he has a brother? Mom nodded. Jenna told him years ago. In terms he could understand. He was excited. Asked if he could meet you someday. Why didn't you let us meet? Because I didn't want you to hurt him. Mom's voice was gentle. Christopher gets attached quickly, forms bonds. If he met you and loved you and then something happened, if your father came back and made things complicated, I couldn't risk Christopher being abandoned again. He's been through enough. I want to meet him. My father made a sound of protest, but I ignored him. I want to meet my brother, the one I should have known about my whole life. And I want him to know that not everyone in this family is ashamed of him. Mom's face crumpled. She nodded through tears. I'll call Jenna tomorrow. We'll figure it out. I turned back to my father. You came here wanting me to change my name, to reclaim some legacy you think I owe you. But here's the thing. I don't owe you anything. Not my name, not my time, not my forgiveness. You made choices. Now live with them. Atlas, I'm done. I grabbed my backpack. David, can you give me a ride to Theo's house? I need to get out of here. David nodded immediately. Grabbed his keys from the counter. My father blocked the doorway. Move! David's voice was quiet but dangerous. This isn't over. My father's eyes locked on mine. I have rights. Legal rights. You're my son and I have a right to a relationship with you. You had 18 years of rights. You chose not to exercise them. I stepped around him. Now I'm an adult. I get to choose. And I choose to walk away from you the same way you walked away from Christopher. From me. See how it feels. I didn't look back as David and I left. Didn't check to see if my father was following. Just got in David's old Subaru and buckled my seatbelt with shaking hands. We drove in silence for 5 minutes before David spoke. You okay? No. I stared out the window. But I will be. Your mom was trying to protect you. You know that, right? I know. I swallowed hard. I just wish she'd trusted me with the truth sooner. Given me a choice about meeting Christopher. About knowing the full story. She was scared. David pulled into a gas station parking lot and turned off the engine. Scared of what the truth would do to you. Scared of your father coming back. Scared of you blaming yourself. Sometimes we make the wrong call trying to do the right thing. Do you think I'm wrong? About keeping the name? David was quiet for a long moment. I think Atlas fits you better than Junior ever did. I think you chose it for the right reasons. And I think your biological father lost the privilege of input when he disappeared for 17 years. He called me his son like that means something. It does mean something. Just not what he thinks. David tapped the steering wheel. Biology gives you a child. Being present makes you a parent. He was one of those things. Briefly, you're more my father than he ever was. David's voice went rough. That means everything to me. You know that. Yeah. I managed a weak smile. I do. We sat there for another few minutes before David started the car again. So, Theo's house, or do you want to keep driving for a while? Keep driving. I leaned back against the headrest. I need to think. Process. Figure out what comes next. How do you feel about meeting Christopher? Terrified. Excited. Angry that we lost so much time. I closed my eyes. What if he doesn't like me? What if he does? That's almost scarier. I opened my eyes. What if we actually bond and I realize I could have had a brother my whole life if my father hadn't been such a coward? Then you'll have a brother moving forward. David merged back onto the road. Can't change the past. Can only choose how you move forward from here. Is that from one of your books? Nope. Just life experience. He glanced at me. For what it's worth, I think you handled that situation better than most adults would have. You stood your ground, spoke your truth, didn't let him manipulate you into guilt. I wanted to throw something, I admitted. When he showed me that Facebook photo, those girls with their perfect smiles, the house, the dog, everything, we never got. But you didn't. You stayed in control. That takes strength. We drove for an hour, just cruising through our small town and the surrounding areas. David didn't push me to talk, didn't fill the silence with empty platitudes, just drove and let me think. Eventually, we ended up back home. My father's car was gone. The house lights were dim except for the kitchen. Your mom's probably worried. David put the car in park but didn't turn it off. You want to go in, or should I tell her you need more time? I'll go in. I unbuckled. We need to talk. About Christopher. About everything. Mom was sitting at the kitchen table with cold tea and red eyes. She looked up when I came in. I'm sorry. She started, but I held up a hand. I know why you didn't tell me. I understand. But moving forward, no more secrets. If there's anything else about him or Christopher or this whole situation, I need to know. All of it. She nodded rapidly. There's not much more. Christopher's doing well. Your aunt sends me updates every few months. Photos sometimes. He's sweet, funny, loves baking bread specifically. Has a routine he follows religiously. What's his disability? Autism spectrum disorder with developmental delays. He didn't start talking until he was 5. Struggled with motor skills. Needed intense therapy. She wrapped her hands around her mug. Your father couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle that his son didn't fit society's idea of normal. And me? You were everything he'd wanted. Healthy, easy baby. Hit all your milestones early. I thought maybe he'd settle down, be happy, but every time I mentioned Christopher, every time I suggested we help with his care or stay involved, your father would shut down. Then he started staying late at work, coming home in bad moods, saying he was done paying for another man's problems. Christopher was his son. Not in your father's mind. Not after Melissa left. He saw Christopher as her failure, her responsibility. He'd done his time. Mom's voice hardened. The day he left, he told me he wasn't going to let one mistake ruin the rest of his life. He called his own son a mistake. Yes, she met my eyes. So when he left you too, I knew it wasn't about you. It was about him. His inability to love anything that required sacrifice or wasn't perfect. I didn't want you growing up thinking you were defective. That's why I didn't tell you about Christopher. I thought if you knew, you'd internalize that same message. I would've. The realization hit hard. I would have spent my whole childhood trying to be perfect enough to keep him, trying to prove I wasn't like Christopher. Exactly! Mom reached across the table. I took her hand. You needed to become who you are without that pressure, without measuring yourself against his impossible standards. And look at you now. Atlas, strong, independent, kind. Everything he couldn't see in either of his sons. We sat there holding hands across the kitchen table. David came in quietly, made fresh tea, set a cup in front of each of us. I called Jenna while you two were out, he said carefully. Gave her a heads up that Atlas wants to meet Christopher. She's talking to him tonight, gauging his interest, his comfort level. And she'll call tomorrow. But she said Christopher's been asking about you for years, wondering if you knew he existed, if you'd want to know him. David smiled slightly. According to Jenna, Christopher's exact words were, I hope my brother isn't mad. I'm different. My throat closed up. Mom was crying again. He's been carrying that fear his whole life, thinking his disability is why his family fell apart. I need to tell him that's not true. I stood up abruptly. Can we call now? Is it too late? David checked his watch. It's 10:30 there. Might be pushing it. Please, just to say hi, to let him know I want to meet him, that I'm not ashamed of him. David and Mom exchanged looks. Mom nodded. David pulled out his phone and dialed. Hey, Jenna. Yeah, it's David. I know it's late, but Atlas really wants to talk to Christopher. Just for a minute. Pause. Yeah, he's right here. Thanks. He handed me the phone. I could hear movement on the other end. Muffled voices. Then, hello? The voice was deeper than I expected. Careful pronunciation, like he was focusing hard on each word. Hi, Christopher. This is Atlas. I'm your brother. Silence. Then, my brother Michael? I go by Atlas now. But yeah, your brother. More silence. I could hear breathing. Then, are you mad at me? What? No. Why would I be mad? Because I'm autistic. Because Dad left because of me. Christopher, no. Dad left because of Dad, not because of you. He left me too. And I'm not autistic. He just leaves people. That's what he does. He left you too? Christopher's voice got smaller. You're not different though. Different doesn't mean less. You know that, right? I gripped the phone tighter. Dad left because he couldn't handle being a real father. To either of us. That's his failure. His problem, not yours. Mom used to say that. Aunt Jenna says it too. But I thought they were just being nice. They're telling the truth. And so am I. I took a breath. I'd really like to meet you. If that's okay. Really? Really. I want to know my brother. Hear about your work. See Oregon. Whatever you're comfortable with. I work at Sunshine Bakery 4 days a week. Tuesday through Friday. I make bread. All kinds. Sourdough is my specialty. That sounds amazing. I've never made bread. I could teach you. The excitement in his voice was pure. It's all about patience and following the routine. I'm really good at routines. I bet you are. So is that a yes? You want to meet? Yes. Yes, I want to meet Atlas. My brother Atlas, when can you come? I need to check with my mom and David about flights and time off from school. But soon, I promise. Okay, soon is good. I'm good at waiting when I know something good is coming. We talked for another 10 minutes about his apartment, his support worker named Tasha, his favorite bread recipes, his collection of baking shows on DVD, normal stuff, brother stuff. When we finally hung up, I handed the phone back to David. Mom was openly sobbing now. He sounds happy, I said quietly, despite everything. Jenna's been incredible with him. Mom wiped her eyes. She got him into therapy early, found the right programs, built structure and routine, advocated for him. Everything your father should have done. I want to meet her too. Thank her. She'd like that. She's asked about you over the years, sent photos of Christopher growing up, wanted you to know him but respected my decision to wait. I'm going to book a flight. I pulled out my phone. This weekend if possible. I don't want to wait. Atlas, you have school, college applications. Midterms coming up, and I have a brother I've never met. School can wait a few days. This can't. David squeezed my shoulder. I'll help you book it, and I'll come with you if you want, or give you space if that's better. Come with me. Please. I don't think I can do this alone. You're not alone. Mom stood and pulled me into a hug. You've never been alone. Even when you felt like it, you've always had us. And now you have Christopher too. I hugged her back, tight, feeling the weight of 18 years and one night. The truth finally spoken, the secret finally shared. That night I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about Christopher, about years of missed birthdays and holidays, about him working at his bakery, wondering if his brother even knew he existed, about the Facebook photos of Madison and Mackenzie, about how my father had managed to erase 2 sons and replace them with a perfect family. Around 2 a.m. I started researching autism, reading about routines and sensory issues and communication styles, wanting to understand, wanting to be a good brother. David knocked on my door at 2:30. Saw your light on. Can't sleep. Me either. He came in and sat on my desk chair. Your mom's been crying off and on for hours. Happy tears mostly. Relieved tears. I'm not mad at her for keeping it secret. I know, but she's mad at herself, questioning whether she made the right call. She did. I wouldn't have handled it well as a kid. I barely handled it tonight. You handled it perfectly. David leaned back. Your biological father expected you to crumble, to apologize, to beg for his attention. Instead, you stood firm, chose your own path. That's not easy. It didn't feel like a choice. Felt like survival. Sometimes those are the same thing. We sat in comfortable silence. David picked up a book from my shelf, the mythology one he'd given me, flipped through it absently. Why Atlas specifically? He asked. You never fully explained. Atlas held up the sky, the heavens. Whatever translation you use, he did it alone because he was punished by Zeus. But he never dropped it, never quit, just kept carrying it because it was his burden. I traced patterns on my bedspread. That's how I felt with Dad's name. Like I was carrying this punishment for something I didn't do, someone else's mistake. But I couldn't put it down until I was strong enough. And at 18, you were strong enough. At 18, I realized I didn't have to carry it at all. I could choose my own burden, or not have one. Be my own person. That's more insight than most people have at 18. At 30, at any age. David set the book down carefully. Your father sees that strength and it scares him, because it highlights his weakness. Good. The word came out bitter. Let him be scared. Let him see what he could have had if he'd stayed. If he'd been brave enough to love imperfect people. You're going to be a great brother to Christopher. How do you know? Because you've already decided he matters. That's the first step, the only step that really counts. Friday morning came too fast. I'd booked a flight for Saturday afternoon, one way to Portland, return on Monday night. Gave me 2 full days with Christopher. School was strange. Walking through halls, knowing my life had fundamentally changed, but everything looking exactly the same. Lockers, classes, friends complaining about homework. My best friend Theo caught me at lunch. You look wrecked. What happened? I gave him the abbreviated version. Biological father showing up. Big secret revealed. Brother in Oregon. Theo's eyes got wider with each detail. Holy shit. You have a secret brother? Not secret anymore. Meeting him tomorrow. Want company? David's coming with me. But thanks. This is insane. Your life is literally a movie. Theo shook his head. How are you so calm? I'm not. I'm terrified. But I'm also angry and curious and excited and like 15 other things at once. Is your bio dad still around? No idea. Don't care. I picked at my sandwich. He's not my problem anymore. That's cold. I like it. I'm just done. Done carrying his guilt. Done making excuses for him. Done wondering what I did wrong. I met Theo's eyes. I didn't do anything wrong. He did. And now I get to choose who I want in my life. Heavy stuff for lunch conversation. Yeah, well, heavy week. The rest of Friday dragged. Teachers talking about midterms and essays. Friends making weekend plans. Normal high school noise that felt distant and surreal. Saturday morning I woke up at 5. Couldn't go back to sleep. Just lay there staring at the ceiling thinking about what I'd say to Christopher. How I'd introduce myself. Whether he'd like me. David knocked at 6. Ready to go? As I'll ever be. The flight to Portland was smooth. David let me have the window seat. Didn't push conversation. Just sat there grading papers and giving me space to think. We landed at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Rented a car. Drove to a hotel near Christopher's apartment. Jenna had suggested meeting on neutral ground first. A park, near the bakery where Christopher felt comfortable. She texted when we were checking in. Christopher's been up since 5 a.m. getting ready. He picked out his favorite shirt 3 times. Very excited. That made me smile. And panic. What if I disappointed him? What if I wasn't what he expected? David must have seen my expression. He already likes you. You called him brother. That's all he needed. At 4 p.m., we drove to the park. Jenna had described it as small with a playground and picnic tables. Easy to find. I spotted them immediately. Woman in her 40s with Christopher's same eyes. And next to her, a man who looked like me. Same build, same dark hair, same Reynolds eyes that apparently ran in the family. Christopher was pacing. Not anxious pacing. More like excited energy he couldn't contain. He saw our car and stopped. Stared. I got out slowly. Jenna touched Christopher's arm gently. He nodded at whatever she said and started walking toward me. We met in the middle of the park. Just stood there looking at each other. "You're really here?" Christopher's voice was the same as on the phone. Careful. Precise. "I'm really here. You're tall. Taller than in my head. You too. I'm 6'1". Aunt Jenna says I might still be growing." He tilted his head. "You have Dad's eyes. I do too. But yours look nicer." That broke something in me. I laughed. Actually laughed. "Yours look nicer too. Can I hug you?" Aunt Jenna says I should ask before hugs. Yes, please." Christopher hugged like he meant it. Tight and warm and real. When he pulled back, he was grinning. "I have a brother. A real brother who came to meet me." "You've always had a brother. I just didn't know yet. But now you do. So now it's real." "Yeah, now it's real." Jenna approached with David. Made introductions. We all sat at a picnic table. Christopher sat next to me. Close but not touching. Respecting space. "Do you want to see where I work?" Christopher asked. "Sunshine Bakery is 3 blocks away. My boss, Teresa, said I could show you around after closing." "I'd love that." We walked to the bakery. Christopher pointing out landmarks. The coffee shop where he got lattes every Wednesday. The library where he did a book club. The bus stop he used for work. Normal life, normal routine. Nothing scary or damaged or wrong. Just Christopher living his life. The bakery smelled incredible. Bread and cinnamon and sugar. Teresa greeted us warmly. Middle-aged woman with flour in her hair and a genuine smile. "You must be Atlas. Christopher hasn't stopped talking about you all week." Christopher showed me everything. The industrial mixers. The proofing oven. His station where he shaped loaves. His apron hanging on a hook with his name embroidered on it. "I make 600 loaves a week. Tuesday through Friday. Sometimes more if there's orders." He ran his hands over the counter. "Each type has a different routine. Different timing. I'm good at timings. This is amazing. You should be really proud." "I am proud. Teresa says I'm her best baker. That customers ask for my bread specifically." He smiled. "That feels good, being good at something." We stayed at the bakery for an hour. Christopher answering all my questions about yeast and dough and fermentation. Getting more animated as he talked. This was his world, his expertise. When we left, the sun was setting. Christopher suggested dinner at his favorite Thai restaurant. They know my order. Makes it easier. Dinner was comfortable. Christopher telling stories about work and his support worker, Tasha, and his apartment. Jenna filling in gaps. David asking thoughtful questions. I mostly listened, learning about this brother I'd missed. This person who'd been out here living and working and being himself while I was growing up not knowing he existed. After dinner, Christopher walked us back to our hotel. At the entrance, he stopped. "Will you come back? After this visit?" "Yes, definitely." "When?" "I don't know exactly, but soon, and we can video call in between. Text, whatever you want. I want to know my brother, all the things, your favorite foods and what school is like, and if you like to bake." Christopher's voice got urgent. I missed so much time. "I want to know everything." "Me too. We'll figure it out. Together." Christopher hugged me again. "Thank you for coming. For not being mad that I'm different. Thank you for wanting to meet me. For being excited instead of angry." "Why would I be angry?" "Because our father kept us apart. Because we lost all these years." Christopher thought about that. "I'm sad about that, but not angry. Angry doesn't change it. Just makes right now worse." He pulled back. "Right now is good. You're here. That's what matters." Watching him walk away with Jenna, I felt something shift. All the anger I'd been carrying about my father, about the name, about the abandonment. It didn't disappear, but it got smaller. Less important than the brother I'd just gained. Sunday, we met at Christopher's apartment. Small one-bedroom with schedules taped to every wall. Routine charts, color-coded calendars, everything organized and labeled. "This is how I manage," Christopher explained. "Visual schedules. Knowing what comes next. Reduces anxiety." His apartment was spotless. Books arranged by color, DVDs alphabetized. Even his kitchen was organized with labels on every container. "This is impressive," David said honestly. "I'm an English professor and my office doesn't look this organized." Christopher beamed. Organization is calming. Everything has a place. A purpose. We spent the day just being brothers. Christopher taught me to make sourdough starter. We watched his favorite baking shows, talked about books and music and life. He showed me photos from growing up. Jenna had documented everything. Christopher as a kid in therapy, learning to talk, learning to read. Every milestone celebrated and recorded. Aunt Jenna never gave up on me. Christopher traced a photo of himself at 10, grinning at the camera with missing front teeth. When Dad left, she said, "You're not a burden. You're a gift." I didn't believe her for a long time. Do you believe her now? Most days. Some days are harder. When people stare or make comments. When things don't go according to plan, and I have a meltdown. He looked at me. Do you have hard days? Yeah. Days when I feel like I'm not enough, or too much. When I compare myself to other people and come up short. Me too, Christopher nodded. But Aunt Jenna says comparison is the thief of joy. That everyone's path is different. Mine just looks different than most people's. Wise woman. She's the best. She chose me. Dad didn't. But she did. That matters more. We talked about school. Christopher had graduated from a special education program at 21. Went through job training. Got hired at Sunshine Bakery at 22. What do you want to study? He asked. In college? I don't know yet. Maybe psychology. Maybe social work. Something where I can help people. I shrugged. Still figuring it out. You have time. I figured out baking at 19. Before that, I didn't know what I was good at. Christopher smiled. Now I can't imagine doing anything else. Monday came too fast. Our flight was at 6 p.m. We had lunch with Christopher and Jenna. Made plans for Thanksgiving. Christopher wanted to visit us if his schedule allowed. I've never been to your state, Christopher said excitedly. We could make bread together. I could meet your mom. See your house. We'd love that. Mom's already planning the menu. The airport goodbye was hard. Christopher crying openly. Not embarrassed. Just sad. I'll miss you. I just met you and now you're leaving. But I'm coming back, and you're coming to visit. This isn't goodbye. It's see you later. See you later is better. Christopher wiped his eyes. Promise you'll text? Every day? Every single day. Promise. The flight home was quiet. David grading papers. Me staring out the window, processing everything. We landed at 11 p.m. Mom picked us up from the airport. She hugged me tight in the parking garage. How was it? Perfect. He's perfect. Different, but perfect. I showed her photos on my phone. Christopher in his apartment. At the bakery. Making bread. He wants to come for Thanksgiving. Then he'll come for Thanksgiving. Mom's voice was thick. I should have introduced you years ago. Maybe. But it happened now. That's what matters. Home felt different. Same house. Same room. But I was different. Had a brother now. A real relationship to build. Tuesday I went back to school. Theo ambushed me at my locker. Details. Now. I told him about Christopher. About the bakery and the apartment and the connection we'd found. That's actually really cool, Theo said. You going to see him again? Thanksgiving. He's coming here. Bring him to meet everyone. We'll do game night or something. He'd like that. The rest of the week was normal. School, homework, applications. But different. Better. Like I'd found a piece of myself I didn't know was missing. Friday afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Atlas? My father's voice. We need to talk. About Christopher. About what you're doing. My stomach dropped. How did you get this number? Your mother's emergency contact list. I still have access to the old email. He sounded stressed. You can't just show up in his life like this. You'll confuse him. Destabilize his routine. I'm his brother. I have every right to know him. You're upsetting a very delicate balance. Christopher has structure, support systems. You're an unknown variable. I'm family. That he's wanted to meet for years. Jenna had no right to let you visit without consulting me. You? You haven't been his father in 17 years. You don't get a say. I'm still his legal father. I still have rights. Really? Because Jenna has custody. Has had it since you abandoned him. You signed away your rights in the custody agreement. Mom showed me the papers. Silence. Stay away from Christopher, I'm warning you. Or what? You'll show up and traumatize him again? Let him see the father who left because he wasn't perfect enough? I laughed bitterly. I'm not scared of you, and I'm not staying away from my brother. I'll call Jenna. Tell her you're being inappropriate. Go ahead. She knows everything. About you. About me. About what you did to both of us. She's been waiting for me to reach out for years. You're making a mistake. No, you made the mistake. 17 years of them. I'm just building a relationship with the brother you tried to erase. I hung up, blocked the number, called Jenna immediately. He's going to call you. My biological father. He's upset I met Christopher. Let him call. Jenna's voice was steel. He lost the right to have opinions about Christopher when he signed those custody papers. I've been documenting everything. Every missed birthday. Every failed visit. Every year of child support he fought. He has no legal standing and he knows it. I don't want Christopher caught in the middle of this. Christopher won't be. I'll handle it. You just focus on being a good brother. That night, David knocked on my door. Your mom told me about the call. He's threatened to cause problems. He can try, but he burned too many bridges. Courts don't look kindly on parents who abandon special needs kids then try to interfere 17 years later. David sat on my bed. How are you handling it? I'm angry, but also not surprised. He wants control. Can't stand that we're building something without his permission. That's exactly right. You took power away from him, chose your own path. That terrifies men like him. Good. Wednesday, my father called Mom. She put him on speaker so David and I could hear. He started with accusations. We'd poisoned Atlas against him. We'd manipulated Christopher. We'd violated some imaginary family code. Mom let him rant for 3 minutes, then cut him off. Michael, you lost your vote when you left. Both boys. Both times. You don't get to show up 17 years later and make demands. I have legal rights. No, you don't. You signed away rights to Christopher. Atlas is 18 and gets to choose his own relationships. You have no legal standing with either of them. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Stop calling, stop threatening, or I'll file a restraining order. I've already consulted a lawyer. She hung up, looked at me. He's not going to give up easily. I don't care. Let him try. He'll lose. That weekend, Christopher video called. His face filled the screen, grinning. Atlas, guess what? What? I talked to my therapist about meeting you. She said it's the best thing that's happened to me in years. That family connections are important for emotional health. That's great, Christopher. And Aunt Jenna said I can definitely come for Thanksgiving. We're booking flights tomorrow. I'm so excited I might explode. His joy was infectious. I found myself smiling despite the stress of my father's threats. Mom's planning a huge dinner, turkey and all the sides. She wants to know your favorite foods so she can make them. I like mashed potatoes and green beans, but not touching each other on the plate, and I don't eat meat. Is that okay? That's completely okay. Mom's an amazing cook. She'll make sure everything's perfect. We talked for an hour, Christopher showing me the new loaf he'd perfected at work, me showing him my college application essays. Just brothers talking. Normal stuff. After we hung up, I felt lighter. My biological father could threaten all he wanted, but he couldn't take away what Christopher and I were building. Monday at school, I got called to the office. Weird since I wasn't in trouble. The secretary looked uncomfortable. There's someone here to see you. Says he's your father. My blood went cold. My biological father? Yes, he's in the conference room. Principal Torres is with him. I texted David immediately, then walked to the conference room on shaking legs. My father sat across from Principal Torres. He stood when I entered. Atlas, thank you for coming. Why are you here? To talk, like adults, without your mother interfering. Principal Torres cleared her throat. Mr. Reynolds came to discuss concerns about your well-being. He mentioned some family issues. He's not my father. Not in any way that matters. He left when I was 2. He has no right to show up at my school. I'm trying to prevent you from making mistakes. My father's voice was calm, reasonable. Getting involved with Christopher is complicated. He needs specialized care, specific handling. You don't understand what you're getting into. I understand perfectly. I met him, spent 2 days with him. He's smart and funny and kind. The only complication is you. Christopher's condition requires... He's autistic, not broken. He has a job and an apartment and a full life. The only thing he was missing was family who actually wanted him. Principal Torres was watching carefully. Atlas, do you feel unsafe? Is there something you need to report? No, I just need him to leave. He's not a part of my life. Hasn't been for 17 years. This is harassment. My father's mask slipped. Harassment? I'm your father. Biologically. That's where it ends. I pulled out my phone. David's on his way. He has emergency contact authorization. You don't. You need to leave. I'll go. My father stood slowly. But this isn't finished. You don't know the whole story. About Christopher. About why I left. I know enough. Do you know what it's like watching your kids scream for hours? Hurt themselves? Not be able to tell you what's wrong? His voice rose. Do you know the guilt of having a disabled child? The judgment? The constant therapy appointments and evaluations and failures? Those are your feelings. Your failures. Not Christopher's. He didn't ask to be autistic. But you asked to be a father. And you quit. Twice. David burst through the door. Took in the scene. You need to leave. Now. My father looked between us. This is a mistake. All of you are making a huge mistake. Christopher needs protection from people who don't understand him. He needs protection from you, I said quietly. From people who see him as a burden, as something to be ashamed of. My father left. Principal Torres stayed behind. Are you okay? Yes, just shaken. He's been escalating since I met Christopher. If he shows up again, we'll call the police. He's not on your authorized contact list. He can't just show up at school. She looked concerned. Do you need to talk to the counselor? I'm okay. I have David and my mom. And a good therapist. I managed a smile. I'm handling it. David drove me home. Mom was waiting. She hugged me for a long time. He's not giving up, I said into her shoulder. Then we fight harder, whatever it takes. That night, Jenna called. Your father contacted Christopher's workplace, tried to convince Teresa that you were a bad influence, that you'd destabilize him. What did she say? She told him to leave and not come back. Then called me. We're documenting everything, building a case for a restraining order if needed. Will Christopher have to testify? I don't want to put him through that. We're trying to avoid it, but he's willing. He told his therapist he's tired of hiding from his father. That meeting you gave him confidence to stand up for himself. I don't want to cause problems in his life. Atlas, you're not the problem. You're the solution. Christopher's happier than he's been in years. More engaged, more confident. You've given him something precious. Family who chooses him. Wednesday, my father left a message on Mom's voicemail. Calmer this time, almost pleading. Deborah, please. I'm just trying to protect everyone. Christopher doesn't need upheaval. Atlas doesn't understand the complexities. Can we please meet? Talk this through rationally? Mom deleted it without response. Thursday, he showed up at David's office at the college. David's department secretary called campus security before he even made it past the front desk. He's desperate, David said that night. That makes him unpredictable. Should we cancel Thanksgiving? Keep Christopher away? No, Mom was firm. We're not letting him control our lives. Christopher's visit happens as planned. We'll take precautions, but we're not hiding. Saturday, Christopher called with big news. Aunt Jenna talked to a lawyer. We're filing a restraining order against Dad. My dad, the old dad. He corrected himself. The one who left. How do you feel about that? Relieved. And sad. I wanted him to want me, but he doesn't. He wants control. My therapist explained the difference. Christopher's voice was steady. So now I protect myself, and my new family. You and Aunt Jenna, and Aunt Deborah, and David. You're very brave. I don't feel brave. Just done. Done being scared he'll show up. Done waiting for him to change. Done letting him have power. That's exactly what bravery is. The next week passed quietly. My father didn't call, didn't show up. I started hoping he'd finally backed off. Then, Tuesday afternoon, Theo texted me a screenshot. Someone had posted on a local Facebook group a long rant about parental rights and alienation and being shut out of his son's lives by manipulative women. My father, using fake details but obvious to anyone who knew the story. The comments were mixed, some supportive, many calling him out. Someone had linked to a news article from years ago about a father who abandoned his disabled child. That someone was my father. By dinner, the post had been taken down. But screenshots lived forever. People know now, I said to Mom. Everyone can see what he is. Good. Let them see. The truth isn't something to hide. Wednesday, Jenna called with the restraining order update. Granted, my father was legally required to stay away from Christopher, from Jenna, from Christopher's workplace. He tried to contest it, said he was being discriminated against, that he had a right to see his son. Jenna's voice was satisfied. Judge asked when he'd last seen Christopher. Sent a birthday card, called, sent support. He had no answers. Order granted immediately. Does Christopher know? Yes, he cried. Happy tears. Said I'm safe now. Really safe. Thursday night I couldn't sleep. Thanksgiving was in a week. Christopher would be here, in our house, meeting Mom and David in person, becoming part of our family officially. My phone buzzed at 1 a.m. Text from unknown number. You've destroyed everything. I hope you're proud. You've turned my own son against me. Both of them. You'll regret this. I screenshot it, forwarded to Jenna, to Mom, to the local police non-emergency line, then blocked the number. Friday morning, a police officer came to our house, took a statement about the threatening text, said they'd follow up. Your father's escalating, be careful, lock doors. Very routines, if you see him anywhere, call 911 immediately. That made it real, scary real. Mom installed new security cameras, got an alarm system, made David and me promise to stay aware of our surroundings. He's not going to hurt anyone, she said like she was trying to convince herself. He's just angry, lashing out. Angry people do unpredictable things, David said quietly. Saturday, I almost canceled Christopher's visit. Almost called and said it wasn't safe. but I didn't, because my father had already taken 17 years. He wasn't taking this too. Sunday, Jenna called. We're still coming, but we're flying in Wednesday instead of Thursday. Gives us buffer time. And we're renting a car. More flexibility if we need it. Are you scared? Cautious, not scared. I've dealt with your father before. He blusters and threatens, but he's a coward at heart. Still, better safe than sorry. Monday at school felt surreal. Midterms starting, college applications due, Thanksgiving break approaching. Everyone in holiday mode while I was counting down to either a beautiful reunion or a disaster. Theo pulled me aside at lunch. Dude, people are talking about your dad. The Facebook post. Great. No, actually great. People think he's pathetic. My mom's in that group. She called him out publicly. Said any father who abandons kids doesn't get sympathy. Your mom's awesome. She wants to invite you and your whole family for dessert on Thanksgiving, including Christopher. Says she'd be honored to meet him. I texted Mom. She responded immediately. Tell Theo's mom yes, and thank her. Tuesday crawled by. One more day until Christopher arrived. I deep cleaned my room, made sure the bathroom was stocked, removed any potential sensory triggers Jenna had warned me about. No strong air fresheners, no scratchy towels, everything labeled and organized. Mom cooked prep dishes. David installed a Ring doorbell with his phone linked. We were as ready as we could be. Wednesday morning I skipped school. Told Principal Torres it was a family emergency. She understood. Christopher's flight landed at 2 p.m. Mom, David, and I went to the airport together. Held a sign that said, Christopher, welcome home. I saw him before he saw us. Scanning the crowd, Jenna beside him. Then, his eyes found the sign. Found me. His face lit up like Christmas. He ran. Actually ran through the airport. Jenna laughing behind him. He grabbed me in a hug so tight I couldn't breathe. You're here. I'm here. We're here together. He pulled back. This is the best day. Mom was crying. She introduced herself to Christopher. I'm Deborah, Atlas's mom, which makes me your bonus mom. Bonus mom. Christopher tested the words. I like that. Aunt Jenna is my real mom, but your bonus mom. That's good. We drove home. Christopher narrating everything from the back seat. That's a big tree. That sign is crooked. I like your car. It smells like vanilla. At home, I showed Christopher his room. Guest room with blue walls and organized space. Jenna had sent a list of his needs. Weighted blanket, blackout curtains, white noise machine. We'd bought everything. Christopher walked around, touching things carefully. This is mine? For the visit? Yes, your space. You can arrange it however feels good. He spent 20 minutes setting up, organizing his toiletries, arranging his clothes, setting his routines. Then came downstairs grinning. I'm ready for family time. We played board games, made cookies, watched a baking show Christopher loved. Normal stuff, easy stuff. That night, Christopher hugged everyone goodnight. When he got to me, he said quietly, I'm happy, really happy. Thank you for wanting me here. Thank you for coming, for trusting us. You're my brother. Trust is easy. Thursday morning, Thanksgiving. Christopher was up at 6 a.m. helping Mom cook. He had specific jobs, peeling potatoes, arranging vegetables, setting timers. Routines help, he explained, knowing what comes next. David worked on place cards, put Christopher's between mine and his. Family placement. Noon, we got a text from Theo's mom. Police just came by. Your father was seen in the neighborhood. They're increasing patrols. Everyone stay safe. Mom's face went white. Jenna pulled Christopher aside, explained carefully that there might be extra police around, that it wasn't scary, just precautionary. Christopher processed it. Because of our dad? The old dad? Yes. He won't come here. He doesn't want me. Remember? I know, sweetie. But sometimes people get confused about what they want. Not confused, just mean. Christopher said it matter-of-factly. I'm not scared of mean people anymore. I have backup now. He pointed at all of us. 2 p.m. Guests started arriving. David's parents, Mom's sister, 3 of my close friends, including Theo and his mom. Christopher greeted everyone, shook hands formally, made eye contact like he'd been practicing. I'm Christopher, Atlas's brother. I live in Oregon and make bread. It's nice to meet you. Everyone was charmed. Theo's mom especially. Your brothers told me wonderful things about you. Would you tell me about your work? Christopher lit up. Spent 15 minutes describing sourdough, fermentation, kneading techniques. Everyone listened like it was the most interesting thing they'd ever heard. Because it was. Watching Christopher share his passion, be himself without apology. That was the best Thanksgiving gift. Dinner was perfect. Turkey for those who ate meat, tofurkey for Christopher, all the sides. Christopher's plate carefully arranged with nothing touching. When we went around saying what we were thankful for, Christopher went last. I'm thankful for Atlas, for finding me, for wanting a brother even though I'm different, for showing me family isn't who leaves you, it's who chooses you. Everyone was quiet. Mom crying again, David gripping my shoulder. Then Theo raised his glass. To family, the ones we're born with and the ones we find. Everyone echoed it. To family. After dinner, we were clearing plates when headlights flooded the driveway. A car pulled up, not one we recognized. My father got out. David moved fast. Everyone inside, now. Christopher froze, staring through the window at the man who'd abandoned him. Jenna grabbed his hand. Come on, honey, let's go upstairs. No, Christopher's voice was steady. I want to see him. I want to talk. Christopher, please, I need to. Mom was already on the phone with 911. David stood by the door. My father approached slowly. He looked terrible, unshaven, wrinkled clothes, desperate eyes. I just want to talk. 5 minutes. Please. David blocked the door. You're violating a restraining order. Police are on their way. I need to see my sons. Both of them. Make them understand. Understand what? I pushed past David. That you abandoned us because we weren't perfect? That you started over with a new family and pretended we didn't exist? You don't understand the pressure, the judgment. Everyone staring at Christopher, whispering about what was wrong with him. What I'd done wrong. My father's voice cracked. I couldn't take it. I tried. God knows I tried. For how long? Christopher spoke from behind me. I turned. He'd come downstairs. Jenna right behind him. How long did you try before you left? My father stared at Christopher. You were 7. I tried for 7 years. That's not very long. Aunt Jenna's tried for 17 years. She didn't leave. Christopher stepped forward. Mom tried for 5 years before she left, but Aunt Jenna stayed. Mom's trying again now. She calls me every week, but you haven't called in 17 years. I couldn't face my failure. I'm not your failure. Christopher's voice rose. I'm autistic. That's different. Different isn't failure. I know that now. I see that now. Please, let me make this right. How? I asked. How do you make up for 17 years? For 2 abandoned kids? For starting over and erasing us? I can't. I know I can't. But I want to try. Please. Sirens approached. My father heard them and flinched. That's your answer, David said quietly. Running. Again. Instead of dealing with consequences. I'm not running. I'm here. You're here because you got caught. Because your life fell apart and suddenly you remembered you had other kids. I shook my head. That's not remorse. That's convenience. Police pulled up. 2 officers. They approached carefully. Michael Reynolds? You're under arrest for violating a restraining order. My father didn't resist. Just looked at Christopher and me with something that might have been regret. I'm sorry. For all of it. I hope someday you can forgive me. Maybe someday, Christopher said. But not today. Today I'm having Thanksgiving with my real family. They took him away. We stood in the driveway watching. When the police car disappeared, Christopher turned to me. Are you okay? I should be asking you that. I'm okay. He looked sad. That makes me sad. But not guilty. I didn't make him leave. He chose that. Christopher took a breath. Can we go eat pie now? My routine is off and pie helps. Everyone laughed. The tension broke. We went inside, ate pie, played games, acted like the last hour hadn't happened. Because that's what family does. Protects each other, moves forward, chooses joy even when it's hard. That night, Christopher and I sat on the back porch. Stars out, quiet neighborhood. Thank you, Christopher said, for standing up for me. To him, you stood up for yourself. I just backed you up. I've never done that before. Said what I needed to say. To someone who hurt me. He smiled. Felt good. Yeah, it did. Do you think he'll change? Really change? I don't know. Maybe. But that's his journey, not ours. Aunt Jenna says we can't fix people. We can only love them from a safe distance if they're toxic. Your aunt is very wise. She is. And so are you. My wise brother who gives me confidence. We sat there until midnight. Just brothers. Under stars. Building something our father had tried to break. Friday, we went to my school's Thanksgiving basketball game. Christopher's first time at a high school event. He loved it. The noise, the energy, the organized chaos of sports. I understand routines, he said during halftime. Plays are routines, strategies. That makes sense. Theo introduced Christopher to everyone, showed him off proudly. This is Atlas's brother. He makes the best bread in Oregon. Christopher beamed. Want to see pictures? He spent the next hour showing his portfolio. Loaves he'd made, techniques he'd learned. People were genuinely interested, asked questions, made him feel valued. Saturday, we took Christopher to local bakeries. Let him evaluate their bread, rate their techniques. This sourdough is underproofed. See the tight crumb? He held up a slice. Needs another hour minimum. Should we tell them? I teased. No. Everyone's learning. I just noticed details. Sunday came too fast. Christopher's flight was at 4 p.m. None of us wanted him to leave. At the airport, he hugged everyone. Saved me for last. Thank you for the best Thanksgiving. For letting me be part of your family. You're not part of our family. You are our family. Big difference. I love you, Atlas, my brother. I love you too, Christopher. Watching him walk through security, I felt complete. Like a piece I didn't know was missing had finally clicked into place. Monday, back at school, I was different. Lighter. People noticed. You seem happy, Theo said. Like really happy. I am. I have my brother. My family. My name. Everything I wanted. What about your bio dad? He's being charged. Restraining order violation, plus harassment. Jenna's lawyer says he'll probably get probation and mandatory therapy. But it's out of our hands now. Good. Let him deal with his own mess. Tuesday I got a letter in the mail. From my father. Written from jail. I almost threw it away unopened. But curiosity won. Atlas and Christopher. I'm writing this from a place I never thought I'd be. Rock bottom, I guess. I've lost everything. My job. My marriage. My new daughters won't speak to me. All because I couldn't face my past. Couldn't face what I did to you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know I see it now. How badly I failed. How much damage I caused. You were never the problem. Either of you. I was. I'm starting therapy next week. Court-ordered, but I'm actually relieved. Maybe I can figure out why I run. Why I'm such a coward when things get hard. Why I choose perfection over love. I don't expect you to respond. Don't expect you to care. I just needed you to know I finally understand. What I threw away. Who you both became without me. You're better off. Both of you. Better than anything I could have shaped you into. I hope you have good lives. Real lives. Full of people who choose you every day. I'm sorry I was never one of them. Michael. I read it twice. Felt nothing. No anger, no pity, no satisfaction. Just emptiness where he used to live in my head. I showed it to Mom and David that night. How do you feel? Mom asked carefully. Nothing. He's just a man who made bad choices. Doesn't make me angry anymore. Doesn't make me sad. He's just nothing. That's healthy, David said. You processed it, worked through it. Now you can move on. Yeah, I think I can. I called Christopher that night. Read him the letter. He sounds sad, Christopher said after a long pause. Sad and broken. Does that change anything for you? No, but I hope he gets better. Not for me. For him. No one should be that broken. You're very kind. Not kind. Just realistic. Holding anger hurts me. Letting it go helps me. So I let it go. I'm trying to do that too. We'll do it together. Brothers helping brothers. December came. College applications submitted. Midterms passed. Christmas approaching. Christopher called every day. Sometimes just for a minute. Sometimes for hours. We had routines now. Tuesday, we'd talk about his work week. Friday, we'd watch a baking show together over video call. Sunday, we'd just chat about nothing important. Regular brother stuff. I got my first college acceptance letter mid-December. State University with a partial scholarship. I screamed when I opened it. Mom came running. I got in. Full acceptance to the psychology program. We celebrated that night. Called Christopher, who was equally excited. My brother is going to college to study brains. That's so cool. I want to help people. Like you. Like kids who feel different. You'll be so good at that. You understand different. Christmas week, Christopher flew back. This time just for 4 days. But it was enough. Opening presents, making cookies, watching movies, being family. He gave me a journal. Handmade leather cover with my name embossed. For college. For writing your thoughts. David said writers use journals. You're kind of a writer now. Telling our story. This is perfect. Thank you. I gave him a professional apron. Navy blue with Christopher, Master Baker embroidered on it. He cried happy tears. I'm wearing this to work forever. New Year's Eve, we stayed up until midnight. All of us. Christopher fought his normal 9 p.m. bedtime because traditions matter. At midnight, we toasted with sparkling cider. To new beginnings, Mom said. To family we choose, David added. To brothers, I finished. To being exactly who we are. Christopher clinked everyone's glass carefully. And knowing that's enough, 2024 started with promise, with hope, with a full family. January brought more college acceptances. I chose the State University, close enough to visit home, far enough for independence, psychology major with a minor in social work. Christopher approved. You'll help so many people. I'm proud of you. I learned from the best. You never apologize for being yourself. I want to help other people learn that. February, I turned 19. Had a small party. Christopher couldn't come due to work, but video called during cake. Sang happy birthday off-key and made me laugh. 19 is a good age. You're basically an adult now, but still young enough to make mistakes. When did you get so wise? Therapy. Lots of therapy, he grinned. And having a brother who believes in me, that helps. March brought news. My father had completed his court-ordered therapy, was moving to another state, starting over again. He sent a final message through Mom. Tell the boys I'm leaving, not running this time, just accepting I've caused enough damage here. I hope they have beautiful lives. They deserve better than me. Mom asked if I wanted to respond. I thought about it for a day. Then, sent a single text. Good luck. I hope you find whatever you're looking for. Short, clean, final. Christopher sent nothing. Said he'd already said everything that needed saying. April, I got invited to speak at a teen mental health conference. About identity and family and choosing your own path. I almost said no. But Christopher encouraged me. Tell our story. Help people. That's what you wanted to do. So I did. Stood on a stage in front of 200 teenagers and told them about names and abandonment and brothers and choice. You're not defined by who leaves. You're defined by who stays, who chooses you, who sees your worth even when you can't see it yourself. The standing ovation surprised me. Kids lined up after to share their stories, to say thank you, to say they felt less alone. That's when I knew this was my path, helping people write their own stories instead of living someone else's narrative. May meant graduation. Top 15% of my class. Mom and David in the audience crying proud tears. Christopher video called from work break to watch the ceremony streamed online. That's my brother, he shouted into his phone. Walking across that stage, that's Atlas Reynolds, my brother. His co-workers cheered in the background. Made me laugh in the middle of my diploma walk. Summer, I worked part-time at a youth center. Ran groups for teens struggling with identity issues, with family problems, with feeling different. I told them about Christopher, about choosing Atlas, about building family with people who saw your worth. Different isn't defective. It's just different, and the people who matter will understand that. One kid came up after, 16 years old, small for his age, struggling with his religious parents who didn't accept his sexuality. Your story, about your brother, about choosing family. He wiped his eyes. That gave me hope, that there are people out there who will accept me. There are, I promise. And until you find them, you accept yourself. That's the first step. August, I moved into my dorm. Small room, shared bathroom, everything new and scary and exciting. Christopher flew out to help me move in. Insisted on organizing my space. Routines help in new places. Labels, structure. You'll thank me later. He was right. Having everything organized made the transition easier. We spent my first night in the dorm sitting on my tiny bed eating pizza. Just brothers. Starting a new chapter. I'm scared, I admitted. What if I'm not smart enough? What if I fail? You won't fail. You're Atlas. You hold up your own world, remember? That was just a metaphor. No, it's who you are. You decided who you wanted to be. Named yourself. Built yourself. You'll be fine. He flew home the next day. I started classes. Psychology 101, Introduction to Social Work, English Composition. And I thrived. Made friends. Joined clubs. Started volunteering at a special needs recreation program. Met people who cared about making a difference. Christopher called every day. Routine. Tuesday through Friday after his work shift. Saturday and Sunday morning before his weekend routine. How's college? Good. Hard but good. I'm learning so much. Are you eating enough? Sleeping? Yes, Mom, I teased. I'm serious. You need routines. Structure. Take care of yourself. I am. I promise. October brought midterms. Stress. Late nights studying. Doubts about my major. I called Christopher during a breakdown. 2 a.m. my time. 11 p.m. his time. I don't know if I can do this. Everyone else seems so much smarter. More prepared. Atlas. Stop. Listen to me. Christopher's voice was firm. Remember when I first started at the bakery? I burned 40 loaves in my first week. 40. Teresa almost fired me. Really? Really. But I kept trying. Learned the patterns, the timing. Now I'm her best baker. You'll do the same. You just need time to find your pattern. When did you become the wise one? When I got a brother who believed in me, showed me I could do hard things. Now I'm showing you. I passed midterms. Not perfectly, but passing. Learning? November meant Thanksgiving again. Christopher came for 5 days this time. Met my college friends. Spoke to my psychology class about living with autism. He was brilliant, funny and honest and raw. talked about challenges and strengths, about being different in a world that demands conformity. My brother Atlas taught me that different is okay, that I don't have to apologize for my brain working differently. I hope you remember that when you're therapists someday. Different isn't defective. Standing ovation. My professor asked if he'd come back in the spring. Christopher agreed immediately. December, I got a letter from Madison, my father's teenage daughter, my half-sister I'd never met. Dear Atlas, you don't know me. I'm Madison, Dad's daughter. Well, one of them anyway. I found your story online, the mental health conference speech. Watched it 3 times. I can't stop thinking about what you said. About names and choices and family. Mackenzie and I didn't know about you and Christopher until everything fell apart. Dad told us he was married once before, that he had older kids. But he made it sound like you didn't want a relationship with him, like you'd rejected him. Then we found out the truth, that he abandoned you both, that he lied about who he was. We don't know what to do. He's our dad, but he's also a man who left his disabled son and his baby. That's not okay. Mackenzie and I are trying to figure out how to process this. I don't know what I'm asking. Maybe just acknowledgement that we exist too, that we're as confused as you probably are. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. No pressure, just here. Madison. I showed the letter to Christopher during our next call. What should I do? What do you want to do? I don't know. Part of me is curious. Part of me thinks it's a trap. Part of me feels bad for them. They're not your responsibility, but they're also not your enemy. Christopher was quiet for a moment. Maybe respond. See what happens. Worst case, you block them. Best case, you have 2 more sisters. You make it sound simple. It is simple. Do you want to know them or not? Yes or no? Everything else is just noise. I wrote back. Short, neutral, open. Madison, thank you for reaching out. I don't blame you for what he did. You were kids. You didn't know. If you want to talk, I'm willing to listen. No expectations. Just 2 people trying to make sense of a complicated situation. Atlas. She responded the next day. We started emailing. Carefully, testing waters. She was 15 now. Mackenzie was 14. Both dealing with their father's latest failure. He's been gone since the arrest. Sends checks but no calls. Like we're obligations instead of daughters. Sounds familiar? He's good at disappearing when things get hard. Were you angry? When he left? For a long time. Then I realized anger was just giving him power he didn't deserve. So I let it go. Built my own life. Found my own family. How do you do that? Let it go. Therapy. Time. Choosing to focus on people who choose me instead of mourning people who didn't. Madison and I talked every few days. Then Mackenzie joined the emails. They were funny, smart, dealing with their own issues. Our mom is devastated. She thought she married this great guy. Turns out he's been lying about his past for 16 years. That's not your fault either. Adults make bad choices. Kids shouldn't have to fix them. By Christmas, we were video calling. They met Christopher. He was nervous at first, worried they'd judge him. But they were kind, asked questions, listened to his stories about baking, laughed at his jokes. You're nothing like what we expected, Madison said. Dad made it sound like you were this burden, this problem, but you're just a person, a really cool person. Your dad sees what he wants to see, not what's actually there. Christopher smiled. I'm glad you see me. January 2025 started with unexpected news. My father's new wife filed for divorce, full custody of Madison and Mackenzie, citing abandonment patterns and emotional abuse. Madison called crying. She's using Dad's past against him, using you and Christopher, saying he'll do the same to us. Will he? I don't know. He barely calls now, sends money but nothing else. She sobbed. I hate him for what he did to you, but he's still my dad. I still love him. You can love him and still recognize he's broken. Those aren't mutually exclusive. I just want him to fight for us, prove he's changed, but he won't even show up to court dates. That's his pattern. Running. It's not about you. Or Mackenzie. It's about him choosing the easy path instead of the right one. You're so calm about it. How? Years of practice. And therapy. Lots of therapy. I paused. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. And Christopher, we know what abandonment feels like. We can help you through it. Even though we're technically strangers, you're my sisters. That's not nothing. Over the next few months, Madison and Mackenzie became regular parts of my life. And Christopher's. We video called weekly, texted daily. They came to visit me at college in February. This is weird, Mackenzie said, touring campus. We have a brother, an actual brother we never knew about. And a sister in Oregon who's not actually our sister but feels like it anyway, Madison added. She and Christopher had bonded over baking videos. Family is who you choose, I repeated Christopher's wisdom. Blood is just biology. Choice is what matters. Spring semester brought more speaking engagements, more teens sharing their stories, more kids finding hope in our experience. Christopher started his own blog, Baker's Life, living autistic and loving it, writing about his routines, his challenges, his successes. It went viral in the autism community. You inspired this. He told me during one of our calls. You told your story, helped people. I wanted to do that too. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of us. Look what we built. From abandonment and secrets, we built a family, a real one. May brought surprising news. My father reached out to Madison and Mackenzie, actually showed up to a custody hearing, fought for partial custody. He's claiming he's changed, that therapy helped, that he wants to be a real father now. Madison sounded skeptical. Think he means it? I don't know. People can change, but actions matter more than words. Make him prove it. Would you ever talk to him? Give him another chance? No, I've moved on, but that's my choice. You and Mackenzie need to make your own choices, whatever that looks like. They ended up with a supervised visitation schedule, my father getting every other weekend with strict conditions, mandatory continued therapy, regular check-ins with a court-appointed monitor. It's weird, Mackenzie told me after their first visit. He's trying so hard, asking questions, actually listening, but it feels performative, like he's following a script. Maybe he is. Maybe that's all he knows how to do. I thought about my own journey. Give him time, but protect yourselves. Don't let him hurt you the way he hurt us. We won't. We have you and Christopher. You showed us what real family looks like. Summer 2025, I got an internship at a residential facility for teens in crisis, working directly with kids who'd been abandoned, abused, neglected. It was hard, heartbreaking, but meaningful. One kid reminded me of me, 16 years old, rejected by his father for being gay, struggling with identity and worth. I just want him to love me for who I am. The kid sobbed in session. Why isn't who I am enough? Because he's broken, not you. People who can't accept difference are advertising their own limitations, not yours. But he's my dad. He's supposed to love me no matter what. Supposed to. But reality doesn't always match the ideal, so you have two choices. Spend your life waiting for him to change, or build a life around people who already accept you. That sounds lonely. It's not, I promise. The family you choose loves harder than the family you're born into, because they see you and pick you anyway. I told him about Christopher, about David, about choosing Atlas, about building something real from broken pieces. You did that? Just decided to start over? Not start over. Start fresh. There's a difference. I took what was useful from my past and left what wasn't. Built something new with those pieces. He came back the next week with a journal. I'm writing my story, like you did, figuring out who I am without his opinions. That's the first step. August meant sophomore year. New apartment off campus. Roommate who became a close friend. More classes, more learning, more purpose. Christopher visited for a weekend. Met my roommate. Helped organize my new space. Made bread in our tiny kitchen that made the whole building smell incredible. You're happy here, he observed, watching me interact with friends. Really happy. I am. I found my people, my purpose, everything I was supposed to find. Everything you chose to find, he corrected. Don't undersell your part in this. You made this life, named yourself, built yourself, chose yourself. We did that together. You and me, David and Mom, Madison and Mackenzie. We all chose each other. Best choice I ever made. Christopher hugged me tight. Having a brother, having you. Fall semester flew by. Classes and internships and speaking engagements. Christopher's blog grew. Madison and Mackenzie started their own Instagram about healing from parental abandonment. We became a network, a chosen family spanning states and experiences, all of us building something our biological father couldn't give us. Wholeness. November 2025. Christopher called with big news. I'm getting my own apartment. No support services. Just me. Independence. Christopher, that's huge. I know. Jenna thinks I'm ready. My therapist agrees. I've been practicing. Saving money. I'm ready to try. I'm so proud of you. Atlas. His voice got serious. I couldn't have done this without you, without knowing I had backup, family, support. You gave me confidence to try hard things. You gave me the same thing. We built each other up. Yeah, we did. December brought Christmas again, but this time at my apartment. Christopher flew in. Madison and Mackenzie too. David and Mom drove up. Jenna came from Oregon. My small apartment packed with family. Chosen family. Real family. We cooked together, laughed, told stories. Christopher taught Madison how to make sourdough. Mackenzie helped me string lights. On Christmas Eve, we sat around my cramped living room. 7 of us squeezed onto 2 couches. 5 years ago, I thought I knew what family meant, I said. Blood, names, obligations. Now I know different. Family is choice, is showing up, is choosing each other every day. To family. David raised his mug of hot chocolate. To brothers who hold up the sky, Christopher added, grinning at me. To new beginnings. Mom's eyes were wet. To being exactly who we are, Madison and Mackenzie said together. To all of us, Jenna finished. The family we chose, the family we built, the family we are. We clinked mugs, messy and chaotic and perfect. That night before bed, Christopher knocked on my door. Can't sleep? Just thinking. He came in and sat on my bed. About how different everything is. How much better. Yeah, it is better. Do you ever think about him? Our dad? Sometimes. Usually when I see Madison and Mackenzie, wondering if he's actually changing. If therapy's working. Do you hope it is? For his sake, yes. For ours? Doesn't matter anymore. We moved on without him. That's very Atlas of you. Christopher smiled. Practical. Forward-thinking. That's very Christopher of you. Philosophical. Wise. We sat in comfortable silence. Just brothers. Just family. Thank you, Christopher said eventually. For finding me. For choosing me. For showing me I was worth choosing. Thank you for being the brother I didn't know I needed. For teaching me different is just different. For being you without apology. We're pretty great, aren't we? Yeah, we really are. January 2026 brought new challenges. Christopher's solo apartment adjustment. Madison and Mackenzie navigating high school. Me starting a research project on identity formation in abandoned youth. But we faced it together. Daily texts, weekly calls, monthly visits. A network of support that didn't depend on geography or biology. February, I got an email from an unexpected source. Melissa, Christopher's biological mother. I heard you and Christopher connected, that he has a brother who cares about him. I wanted to thank you for being what I couldn't be. I've been in treatment for years, working on my own issues. I'm not asking to see him, just wanted you to know I'm grateful he has you. I showed it to Christopher. He read it carefully. How do you feel? I asked. Sad for her, glad for me, thankful for Aunt Jenna. He handed the email back. I don't need her anymore. I have family, real family. Do you want to respond? No, but maybe you could tell her I'm okay, that I'm happy, that I turned out fine despite everything. I wrote back. Short message. Christopher's doing well, has a full life, is loved and supported. That's all you need to know. Melissa responded with a single word. Good. March meant spring break. Christopher, Madison, Mackenzie and I took a trip to the beach. Just siblings. Rented a house. Spent a week being family. We cooked meals together. Played board games. Walked on the beach. Stayed up late talking about everything and nothing. This is what I always wanted, Madison said one night. We were sitting around a bonfire. Siblings who actually liked each other. Who chose to spend time together. Me too, Mackenzie agreed. Even though we found each other in the weirdest way. The best things usually come from weird places. Christopher poked the fire with a stick. I found Atlas because Dad abandoned us. That's terrible and wonderful at the same time. Bittersweet, I offered. Exactly. Bitter that we lost time. Sweet that we found each other anyway. April brought news that my father had completed 2 years of therapy, was working a steady job, had started a support group for fathers who'd abandoned children. He's sharing his story, trying to help others not make his mistakes, Madison told me. He asked if you'd ever speak to the group, share your perspective. No, I figured, but I told him I'd ask. How's he doing with you guys? Better, more present, actually listening, remembering things. She paused. I think he's really trying this time. Good, I hope he keeps it up, for you and Mackenzie. Don't you want anything from him? Apology? Explanation? Closure? I got my closure when I chose my name, when I met Christopher, when I built this life. I don't need anything from him anymore. That must feel good. Being done. It does. It really does. May 2026, I turned 21. Had a party at my apartment. Friends from college. Christopher flew in. Madison and Mackenzie convinced their mom to let them come. We celebrated with cake and terrible karaoke and laughter. Normal 21st birthday stuff, except it wasn't normal. It was extraordinary. Because 5 years ago, I couldn't have imagined this family, this joy, this wholeness. Christopher gave a toast, slightly drunk on half a beer because he was a lightweight. My brother Atlas, who held up the sky when everyone else said it was too heavy, who found me when I thought I was lost, who proved family is choice, not chance. Happy birthday to the best brother anyone could ask for. Everyone cheered. I cried a little. Happy tears. That night, lying in bed, I thought about names. About Michael William Reynolds Jr., About that kid who hated his identity, who carried shame he didn't earn. He was gone now, replaced by Atlas, strong, chosen, free.